Hi, welcome to Mommas and Mannies. I'm your host, Trina. This is a short form podcast for mamas that are looking for a quick burst of me time. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and share this with another mama so she can get some tips, tricks, and a few things to help her live a better week. Before we get started, as always, we're going to start the episode off with the motivational quote. I'm actually going to do the same quote from last week because I enjoyed it so much and I think it really is a great quote to carry throughout the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year since we are in December. Again, the quote says, when you have a healthy and positive energy in life, amazing things like love, joy, success, and wealth come your way. I really like that quote and I thought about it again because I think this is a good way to end 2024 and a great way to begin and carry on throughout 2025. Really having a healthy and positive energy about life, about yourself, and even about the situation you're in currently. And doing this will in turn lead to amazing things like love, joy, success, wealth, peace. Those things will also enter your life because, again, you will attract what you feed out. If you have done any research or you're into energy levels or vibrations, this quote definitely should ring loudly with you. Again, I'm going to read the quote one more time. When you have a healthy and positive energy in life, amazing things like love, joy, success, and wealth come your way. So that is the quote. But guess what time it is? Before I get to mama time, I want to make sure that you have shared this with another mama. You have hit the like button. We are trying to get more followers and likes for the end of the year and also just to build our audience and our mama base for 2025 and beyond. So you can follow us on Instagram at Mommas and Mannies. You can also follow us on Facebook at Mommas and Mannies. I do have a TikTok page, same handle, Mommas and Mannies. I would love to have you. And one great thing, go ahead and follow us on all platforms or the platform of your choice and ask another mama to do the same. And of course, if you are listening to us on Spotify, like this episode and the podcast so you'll know when we come out with new episodes, as well as on YouTube, like this video and also follow the channel so you'll know new episodes, any shorts we may have. We have some great things coming up for 2025 and I don't want you to miss out. So guess what time it is? It's mama time. This week's mama time is going to be about, and again for this week, I need some tips, some advice if you have older kids, what you have done, what this looks like, how to handle strong-willed kids. I have two daughters, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. And one daughter, I'm not going to say which one, is very strong-willed. I find myself repeating things over and over, and she understands fully what I'm saying, what I'm asking her not to do. And I just need some tips on how to handle the relationship without her feeling like I'm dimming her light or her voice, and without me feeling like I'm getting ready to go crazy because I'm sick of saying the same things over and over. And two, since I have two daughters, just really making sure that my other daughter is not looking at that and saying like, oh, well, my sister's getting away with this. Maybe I can try some of this stuff too. So I'm definitely going to need some input, some feedback, excuse me. So leave your comments, any questions that you may have, suggestions, like I stated, even if you don't have a daughter, maybe it was your son with the same type of attitude. I would love to hear any type of feedback from that. So I was speaking with my therapist last week and she did recommend So how she stated it was kids really don't have a point of reference for things, like they haven't really experienced certain things. For instance, if you are trying to tell your child, hey, don't do that, they don't understand why they shouldn't do that. For instance, and this is something simple. We went to Chick-fil-A, a Dorf House here in Metro Atlanta, and my daughter picked up the ice. Like at this one, when you first come in, they have kind of like a ice chest. I don't know what to call it, but a display with Coca-Cola in the ice chest and ice. So she picks up the ice and getting ready to put it in her mouth. And I was like, oh no, don't do that. And she also did something earlier, like she put some salt or pepper or something on a menu and was getting ready to put it to her mouth. And I was like, don't put things in your mouth. She didn't really have a strong response to that, but usually she may have a strong response, throw a little fit, and not really like a big fit, but it'll be more of squeezing of her hands and kind of making like a face where she's turning her nose up. And sometimes after a while, you can only take that so much. It's kind of like that should be, from a mom perspective, it's like you should know not to put things in your mouth. Who knows where the ice was at? Who knows where the menu was at? So just really, my therapist made a point, either giving your child that point of reference, taking the time out to say, you don't want to put that ice in your mouth or something else in your mouth. You don't know where that's been. You don't know if it's really clean, even though the ice looks clean. You don't know if it's clean. What if somebody put something on it or something like that? You just never know. So that's just one example, but there are a plethora of other examples that I can go through. I'm not going to bore you to death, but just finding some other ways. And I guess for me, and what I've been thinking about is, how can I change myself, or what can I do to better myself as a mom? Like the recommendation my therapist gave as far as giving your child a point of reference. Also, another thing, just like I tell my daughter, even about making that face, is like, first of all, you can't make that face. You don't know who you're going to make that to, how the other person is going to feel or how they'll perceive that. We understand, maybe she's just playing or whatever. That's how she expresses herself. But you get somewhere else, like at school or around other people, and they don't know what that means. They may find it as a sign of disrespect, which I've told my daughter that several times. So really just trying to explain, help her understand for the face. Also making sure that she understands you don't always have to make a comment about everything. Like we may tell her don't do something, then she's like, well, this is how it really is, this, that, this, and the other, whatever. I can't give a specific example right now. And it's kind of like, you don't have to continue to make a comment on something we didn't ask you to make a comment on, or it wasn't meant to have a comment to be made after that. So that can be challenging. And I would really love to hear your feedback. Like I stated earlier, even if you have a son, what do you do with your son? What do you do with your daughters? Do you have a mix, a son and a daughter? How does that look when you have, two separate kids that have different personalities? So really looking for suggestions. I'm trying to think of another tip. So what tips did I say? The first one was give your child a point of reference to help them understand why they should or should not be doing certain things. Number two is looking at yourself to see, am I presenting the same way? Am I making comments out of the way? Am I doing unfriendly faces for stuff? Just trying to check yourself, because one thing about being a parent, especially a mom, is that kids will challenge you, even if it's intentionally or unintentionally, because, kids just don't know. That is something that will happen. You will be challenged on a daily basis, several times a day, and it almost feels like what is going on. It's like defeating, exhausting. So just looking to see, am I the only person feeling like this? Have you already been through this with older kids? Are you just starting to get this type of attitude or behavior from your child if you have younger kids? Would love to hear it. So comment below whatever or wherever you're listening to us. We'll get the notification of your comment. Would love to hear it. But as always, like I said earlier, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. Share this channel, this episode with another mama that has strong-willed kids and she is looking for answers. That way, when people start leaving comments, she can really read those comments and engage herself. But remember, as always, that me time is essential and it is never selfish. Have a great week, mamas.